Hey, deep divers. Welcome back for another deep dive. And guys, you got to hit that like button and subscribe.
Absolutely.
And, leave a comment too. Let us know your thoughts.
Yeah.
Today, we're talking Iowa. IOWA.
Iowa. Yeah. Election 2024.
Unbelievable stuff.
It's unbelievable. We are just days away from the election, and all eyes, obviously, are on these swing states. But guys, there is a poll that just dropped.
Yeah.
A new poll. And it's got everyone like, oh, what is happening in Iowa?
No kidding.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Iowa,
Solidly red.
the last two elections.
Red, red, red. And all of a sudden, this poll comes out, and it's like, bam. What?
Kamala Harris is leading. In Iowa.
Yeah.
What?
Shocking. This is the Des Moines Register, by the way, a very reputable source for polling.
They know their stuff.
They know Iowa.
Yeah. The Des Moines Register Mediacom Iowa poll.
Hmm.
Okay. So it says Harris at 47, Trump at 44.
Wow.
And you know what? Even Jan Seltzer, who's the pollster, even she said, and I quote, "It's hard for anybody to say they saw this coming."
Because who did?
I know, right?
I mean, how?
Okay, so help me out here. Iowa's always been considered like a safe Republican state.
Right. It has been this kind of bedrock of, conservative values.
Heartland of America.
Heartland of America. Exactly.
Yeah.
Strong farming communities, a lot of, sort of traditional values, and it's reliably voted Republican for quite some time. So to see this shift is...
Seismic.
Yeah, seismic.
Yeah. So break this poll down for us. What are we looking at? Like, who did they talk to?
Sure. So they polled 808 likely Iowa voters.
Okay.
Which is a pretty decent sample size. And the margin of error is plus or minus 3.4 percentage points. So, relatively tight race, even for a swing state, but this hasn't been a swing state, really, in recent years.
Okay.
So
what could be happening? Is there any way to explain this?
well, there are a few possibilities. One is that maybe there's a surge in Democratic enthusiasm, maybe driven by younger voters or changing demographics in certain areas. Iowa's not a monolith. There are different pockets of different political leanings. So maybe we're seeing a shift in some of those areas.
Interesting.
Yeah. Another possibility is that some Republicans are disillusioned with Trump and maybe quietly switching sides. It's the silent majority.
A silent majority.
Yeah, where people maybe aren't publicly voicing their support for Harris, but in the privacy of the voting booth, they're making a different choice. And then, of course, there's always the possibility of the undecided voters breaking for Harris at the last minute.
Right.
So, it's a combination of factors, potentially.
And what about the campaigns themselves? Have they been actively, vying for Iowa for votes?
Well, that's the other really interesting thing. Neither candidate has really invested heavily in Iowa. They've been focusing their resources and their time on the usual swing state suspects, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania.
Right.
So it's almost like they took Iowa's redness for granted, and now they're like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe we should have paid a little more attention.
Yeah. But, okay, even if Harris does win Iowa, I mean, is that enough to swing the whole election?
That's a good question. It's unlikely that Iowa alone would be enough to win the presidency, to be honest. But a Harris win in Iowa would be a huge symbolic victory.
Right.
And it could signal a broader shift in voter sentiment nationwide.
Okay.
So, keep an eye on that.
Definitely keep an eye on that. But wait a minute. There's another little wrinkle in all of this. We can't forget about Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Oh, yeah, RFK Jr.
He's still on the ballot in Iowa, and he's polling at 3%.
He's hanging in there.
He is. Now, just to remind everyone, he actually dropped out of the presidential race a while back and endorsed Trump.
Right. An interesting journey.
Quite a journey.
He was a rival to Trump, and then all of a sudden, he's a supporter.
Yeah, from challenging him to backing him.
It's been a roller coaster, that's for sure.
So what does this mean for the election?
Well, his presence on the ballot could definitely skew the results, that's for sure. The question is, who are those 3% of voters who are still supporting him?
Right.
Are they people who are just really dedicated to Kennedy no matter what? Or are they people who are leaning towards Trump but maybe not quite comfortable voting for him directly?
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Yeah, it's really hard to say. It's a wild card, for sure.
It is a wild card. So, deep divers, as we head into these final days before the election, we're left with a lot of questions, aren't we?
We are.
Will Iowa actually flip?
Will it go blue?
Is this poll a sign of a bigger trend?
Is this a fluke? A blip? Or are we seeing a realignment in American politics?
And what about RFK Jr.? Will he be a spoiler?
How will his supporters vote? Or will they stay home?
Yeah. A lot to think about.
A lot to think about.
It's going to be a nail-biter, that's for sure.
It always is.
So deep divers, while you're waiting with bated breath for the election results, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave us a comment with your predictions for Iowa and the whole election.
We want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, we do.
Let us know what you think.
Is Iowa a red herring or the start of a blue wave?
You decide.
Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep diving deep.
And don't forget to vote.
Yes.